I wonder how many of you listening have gone through a divorce or a separation, or how many of you are going through it right now. And maybe you're listening in for someone that you know. Maybe you're a concerned grandmother or grandfather, and you're worried for your grandkids. Maybe your sister or your brother has gone through a divorce, and it's difficult for you to see them struggle. In any case, you are in the right place to tackle this difficult subject of a separation when there are kids involved. Please, at the bottom of this video, write in the comments or send an email to the email address here below and tell me what is your situation because I would love to read about it. Hmm. So welcome everyone. This is my first webinar that I am recording on this subject. I want to welcome you to Healing Your Family After Separation webinar. Whether you're in the middle of a separation or years into your co-parenting situation already, this space is dedicated to you. I created this webinar with deep compassion because I know how challenging and emotionally exhausting this path can be. My intention today is to offer you more than just information. I want to give you relief, clarity, and practical tools. Tools that can help you to feel more in control. Tools that can help you feel less reactive, more connected also to yourself, to your children, and yes, even to your ex. You're not alone in this, and it's not too late to build peace into your life, even after heartbreak or after a rough separation. So take a deep breath. You're in a safe, non judgmental space where we put children's well being at the center while supporting your healing and growth as a parent and as a person. I would like to thank you for taking the time off today to be here and listen to this webinar. Because you could be taking care of your children, you could be working, you could be taking care of the house, maybe cooking, going on grocery shopping, anything. But you took the time to be here today. So thank you for taking that time off for yourself. I will do my utmost to make your time worth it. So you might be wondering, what's in it for me? So, as I just mentioned, my goal is for you to gain clarity about where you're at right now. And since your separation, what is going on in your life today? I want to find that inner peace, give you tools to reconnect to yourself first. I want to give you practical tools also so you can regain hope and feel inspired, maybe. And especially also that you feel part of a community because we are so many people out there that have gone through the same thing. Of course, each situation is unique, but we all have a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges in common. So you might be asking yourself, who am I? And why should you listen to me? That's a very good question. My name is Anna Maria. I'm Swedish, but I have lived abroad nearly my whole life. I now live in Belgium, and I hear a lot of people having gone through divorce and how much we have a lot of things in common. So today I have five children, two from my partners, three for myself. I'm now in a new partnership since 2 years now. And yeah, we are co-parenting five children. So my ex has a new partner, and my partner's ex has also a partner. So we co-parent with six adults and seven children because my ex's partner also has two children. So there are a lot of different aspects, a lot of different people in this blended family, and I absolutely love what we have today. We have two young boys. They are 6 and 8, and three girls of 8, 10, and 13. So those are the age ranges. I have not been navigating through adolescence yet. So if you have, please do comment below how that is going because I do not have that experience just yet. Um, but really, my aim for you in this webinar is to really help you through wherever you're at in your divorce. Because 7 years ago, when I got divorced, I was so emotional because I had been thinking about separation for the last probably 5 years. And I just could not make the decision to do it. So when I finally did take the decision to leave, I felt a lot of guilt, a lot of shame for leaving my three children that were very young at that age. Um, I had a house, I had a car, and basically lost it all because I don't know if you've heard it before, but when emotions go high, intellect goes really low. So you make a lot of decisions under emotions, not a good idea. So, yeah, you probably have some story around that as well to tell, and I would love to hear that. So I really understood the importance of working on my own emotions, what I was going through, also seeing from the perspective of my ex, how that could help me understand him better. And also, I think when I realized that, okay, we're separated, but I actually still need to have a very good relationship with my ex, that was actually a pivot point where I understood that I couldn't hold the grudge. I couldn't hold the emotional because a lot during the separation, during the divorce, because yeah, I had to go through a divorce, and a lot of decisions were taken. I was not happy with them, so I had a lot of yeah, I held a grudge against him for a long time, and at one point I just felt, well, we just need to coexist because for the children's best, we will have a relationship our whole lives still after this separation. So compromises can be found when you just put the children in the middle, and that's the hope that I'm aiming to bring with this webinar. So let's dive right into it. So this webinar will focus on three main areas because, as I told you, maybe I should try the whiteboard option because I know this exists. So I am trying something new with you here. Let me see how that works. Nope, this was not it. Whiteboard. I thought I had a whiteboard. Here it is. Yes. Okay, so let me see. New whiteboard. Very good. Okay. So let me see now. I'm starting this new fresh with you here, which I don't know if it's a very good idea to do this new, but anyways, let's start with red. Okay, this is supposed to be a circle. There's probably a circle mode. So this is your world. This is you. This is all the experiences that you've been going through. This is all your past, and it's also the present, who you are today. And it's also who you could be in the future. This is your world. And in that world, of course, you have your ex, you have your partner, you have your children, and and that is just a fact. So then inside that circle comes a second circle, which I will do green, which is the others. So that's what I just said. In your world, you have to coexist with other people. It's your ex, your children, and also all the people involved, your friends, your family, your ex's friends, your ex's family, and then all your, just peers, the school, the principal, the society. Everything comes into this. And then in the center, the core of this world are your children. Yeah, they are really the center of our world, um, in the way that we see it. So, yes, I really welcome you to see the separation and your situation from your perspective, from your ex's perspective, from any other people's perspective, and also from your children's perspective. That is the goal today. Okay. So, first part, you. So, as I told you, when emotions go high, that's when you need to make important decisions. They have an implication on finances, on the kids, on where to live, on what to do with your work. Should you stay? Should you change? The car, what will you do with it? And you have your experience of your situation, of your separation, how you went through it. Um, and your ex also has his or her own. And you were either helped by the people in your own circle, or they were pretty much a struggle on your path. You either had the support, maybe from a mediator, a lawyer, if you had to go through divorce, or maybe even if you had to go through separation and you couldn't agree for the children on what to do. Maybe you went to different therapists, healers, psychologists, kinesiologists. Is that the word in English? Because there are so many out there that exist. And you might have used them, but you might not, as well not have. And based on your past experience or trauma or even wounds that were created from the situation, you might have handled it in a very different way. You might have found a win-win situation, or one of you took it all and the other one was left with nothing. Maybe you had to fight for yourself, or maybe the other one had to fight for himself or herself, and you just couldn't get anything out of it. And in some areas, you might have negotiated really well, and in others, well, where you were maybe already struggling in your life before that, you didn't. This is probably all in the past for you, but maybe just the fact that I'm mentioning it can bring back some emotions of what you felt during that separation time. Maybe you and your ex had the occasion, took the time to discuss, to understand each other, or maybe you didn't, because maybe you didn't need to, or maybe there was no room to do so. Maybe it was just too difficult, consciously or even subconsciously, and you just never did. Maybe this was such a long time ago. Some couples might be divorced, separated since 10 years, maybe even 20, and still not talk to each other. I have heard many cases that way. And maybe, yeah, you just don't speak to each other anymore. That is a reality. Or maybe you just speak about the essential things. I would like you now to take a moment, take a piece of paper, a pen, and just sit and do a writing exercise. Now that we are taking the time to re-go through that separation process, what happened to you all these years ago? Or what is happening to you right now, depending on your situation? What did you do back then? What decisions did you make that you might not have done the same today? How are you taking care of yourself today? Where are you at? Let's take a moment and write down, whatever comes up for you. What were you going through back then during the separation? Actually, go back to even the time before the separation was even discussed. How were you feeling? What was going on in your couple? And what is still present with you today? How far back what was all this? Are you proud of the person that you've become today? Do you feel emotional? I'll put up some music to help you in this process. Set the timer to 2 minutes so you can take this time for yourself now. Those who recognize that was Diana. Yes, it was. Okay, so I give you an extra 30 seconds to start finishing up, writing whatever comes up for you. The past, the present, and even the future. Okay, let's continue. So, how was that for you? How did that feel? Did you get very emotional? I sure did, and I didn't even connect to it. Or maybe you've really worked through it already so much that there's not a lot of emotions coming up. Maybe you just stated some facts and you have clarity that came out of the situation. Maybe you just realized how far you've come since the separation, where you're at today, and how proud you can be of yourself. Or maybe you have just gained clarity about what still needs to be tackled, what is still difficult in your situation. And that is an excellent point to do. So again, I will invite you to drop me some lines in comments under this video, or even better, by sending an email to me, because I would love to hear. It takes some courage to actually sit here, and you're doing it with yourself, so I hope it feels good to give yourself this time. But to face your own emotions, your own history, that takes some kind of bravery. Okay, so let us now move on to the next part. So The second part, if you remember, were all the others. When I was going through my separation, I felt so alone. I felt that my parents, well, actually, the first thing my father said that was that I had the obligation to remain with him for my children. I think my mother was very keen on how my ex was doing. And my sister just said that what I was doing to my ex was horrific. And so you can imagine I didn't feel very supported by my family. And this is at least how I felt it back then. And my friends, I naturally took a step back because, as I had mentioned previously, I felt very guilty for leaving my family. But on the other hand, I felt like this was the right decision for me. I had pondered over it for years. And during that last year, I made the decision 3 times. I stayed because I thought there was hope. And I did it again. And so the third time, I was very sure of my decision. But I didn't have a lot of supportive friends. My best friend, she had also gone through a divorce very recently. And what I felt looking back now was that her situation mirrored my situation, but we had reversed roles. So I think she was mirroring what I had been going through with my ex, my behaviors, and a relationship that could have lasted 20 years finished at 19 years of friendship. And I must tell you that I never actually understood why. But I just figured that the wounds were so deep, the mirroring for her was so deep that, and then of course some details, but that happened, and but that still it wasn't worth to continue. So yeah, I lost a couple of friends that way, and then we had our common friends. I had no relationship with them, and I didn't feel I earned the right to still be their friend because I had left him. And so I didn't take contact with them for so many years. And it's only a few years after where I did have the conversations with a few of them. And a few confirmed that they felt like I had abandoned him. And but yes, with time, everything is mended. And also, if you reach out and open your heart, often things settle for the best. And my ex's family, let's talk about that for a while. I mean, I had been in their life for 13 years, and from one day to another, that was finished. And I actually felt it was so unfair because their family knew and were also telling me, oh, how can you stay in this relationship because of this or this and that? And then once I had taken the decision to leave, then they just left me on the side and, just and just the situation I remember, I just felt, how come they are not on my side on this part? They've been saying to him that his behavior in this area is not okay. And now today they support him and don't support me at all in the process. And that felt like very difficult to take in back then. So I don't know how it was for you, what you had, if you really had a lovely support from friends, from family. I really, really hope that you did because otherwise it's a period that feels very, very lonely. And what I also noticed, and that's why I feel that it's so important to tackle this, and also to open the space, because I have a feeling a lot of us separated parents, or just separated, no, probably just parents, we have a tendency of associating with other people who have had the same situation as us. So we have a tendency of bundling up together, talking about the situation, how it's been, how it's going. Oh, you know what he did? He did this and this and that. Oh, but listen to my story. This, this is what he did to me. And then this has a tendency of just building an even larger emotional situation about it, where instead of helping you to bring the emotions down, it brings the emotions even further up and building the division, the separation between the two, where I think opening up the space is very important. So my aim also with this webinar, um, how to heal from separation, is also to create a community with people that have gone through a different situation than you, and to just be able to talk about it and to have this safe space to discuss it with people around you being non-judgmental, and maybe even people asking you questions about it that might help them to understand their situation better, of how their ex perceived something maybe, because that's what happened for me back then. Hmm. So, what strategies did you use back then to keep yourself from going insane? What strategies do you use today? And how has this affected your current relationships? Have you developed new friends completely? How are your relationship with your family, with his family, and just with him in general, or with her, of course? Um, and especially, how has this affected the way you perceive love and your relationships? Have you been in a relationship since? How has that been for you? Has it been triggering some trauma, some wounds? Have you maybe made decisions for yourself, for your children around this situation? Do you see today how all of this has affected who you are and the relationships that you have today? Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the most important, our children. So I have three beautiful children, and I was going to separate before, to split up, but then I got pregnant with my son. I remember I cried when I found out, because it meant that I had to stay in my marriage. So in March 2017, my son was born, and in February 2018, I asked for a divorce. So you can imagine, my son was not old. It was such a hard decision for the family model. How will this affect the children? Sometimes you stay for them. And sometimes I know for some couples, something happens and you just need to leave the relationship, because that is how strong the situation that happened affects you, your values maybe that you have. But for our children, we are able to find such strength, and we do whatever it takes for them. We are strong, we work harder, we put on a happy face, we do more. Maybe some people even find a new partner, a new love partner, just because they feel they need another role model. Hmm. For me back then, emotionally, this was such a hard decision, and I felt so guilty. I really feel this is the strongest word for me. I've been repeating it throughout this webinar. And I think I slept with my children in the same bed for a few years, probably, after my divorce. And it felt safe for me to have them close, to see them sleep, and probably based on the fact that they wouldn't feel safe without it. I even got a dog during that period, just for my own emotions, probably, and for the fact of going out more. Otherwise, I had a tendency of staying inside. Because as a mother or as a father, as a solo parent at least, you take care of everything. You need to put the food on the table, you need to work to provide financially for your for your family situation. You have to take care of your home, the laundry, all the clothes that need to be washed. You need to um, take care of the cleaning of the house, the dishes, and everything that once could be split between the two of you. Well, you now have to take care on your own. So often you feel exhausted. And when you don't have the children, if you have the possibility of having the children every second week, for example, like I did, and you take the time for yourself the weeks when you don't have them, you just sleep. That's what I did. I just slept, and then sometimes I went to party, and because that's just what you do when you don't have the children. Sometimes at the beginning, you just feel so empty the weeks when they're not here. I remember my ex said one sentence one day that was so true that fell deep in me. He said, "From now on, I will only see half of the life of our children." And in a sense, it is that way. And it took me a while to really go through that period of finding out that, yes, it was like that. Yeah. But I think sometimes the children help you find a compromise with your ex because you're just the two of you on the same page of your children, your children's best. That is your aim. But sometimes it's also the opposite because the values that you stand for, the decisions that that you can now make for yourself, or maybe the complete opposite of what your ex wants. And some behaviors from your ex you just cannot stand, for example. Some decisions that they make regarding your children, but you do not have 100% control of them anymore. Well, you don't have control over them at all, actually. So you split the calendar with your ex, or maybe you didn't. Maybe you just kept the children, or maybe your ex has full, um, the full, the word is not coming to me in English. Maybe your ex has the children full time. Maybe you just have them every second week, or maybe 2 weeks. Maybe you just have them during the weekend, or maybe it's your ex that only has them every second weekend. Whatever the case may be, these choices have consequences. Consequences for your children, consequences for your current well being, current or future love life, also. There might be consequences on that, for sure. I can tell you from my side. Maybe for your kids, you have decided not to have a love life anymore at all. I have heard that. Some people will only have unsteady relationships, nothing serious. Or maybe you're looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right, but there's always something. You have kids, you're not very available. Maybe they also have kids. Maybe your education models are very different. So, how to take care of your children, psychologically, I mean, for one. They do need a man, woman role model. Your ex maybe has a new partner, and maybe that triggers you actually. I remember one story that I can tell you is I remember my ex had a partner, and it was back in the time when I was still very emotional about all of this. I hadn't gone through a lot of healing for myself, a lot of clarity, hadn't taken the time for myself. And his new partner, this was only a few months after we split up, had made a birthday cake for my daughter, my second daughter, a lemon cake. And that lemon cake became her favorite cake. And I remember how awful I felt about myself because I had been trying to make a lemon cake and hadn't um, made one, at least that was satisfactory enough. Um, and yes, today I'm developing this program on the side because I feel that there are so many people out there that need to take care of themselves. Take the time just to find a community of people who have gone through similar circumstances in their separation and just get some great tools on how to best tackle the communication with your ex, with your children. And that is why I have developed this program that is a 3-month group coaching program with the same name as this webinar, Healing Your Family from Separation. And if you allow me, I will now talk briefly about this coaching program. And if you if you do not have more time, you can just pause and continue later or just not watch the end of it. But if something resonates and you want to go deeper in this, you can stay and listen. So this may or may not be for you right now, but this 3-month program is launching on the 1st of July. It's, as I said, a journey to embark on together as a community, to deeply understand who you are, what values you stand for, and what you want out of life. We will go deeply into the 3 areas that I just went through. And there will be 9 modules. Um, if you send me an email, I will send you out the title of the modules. And for now, I thank you very much. I realize I do not have my paper here to discuss this, but I will make a future video with the proposition of this course. So if you're interested, write it here below in the comments, send me an email, and be sure to stay connected as I will launch this very quickly. You can already join the community, and that is where all the information will come. So thank you so much for being here today. And in any case, I hope this session has helped you gain some clarity. Maybe already work on some of your emotions that you have had that you didn't realize you still had, and some clarity about what you still need to work on and what you have already worked on, and how proud you can be of yourself in your journey up until now. I wish you and your family the very best. Until later, bye bye.